Brecon, right? Yeah, so Brecon's been existing even before Jesus Christ's life, maybe more than 2,000 years ago. What do you know about this?
So the first people who came here were, well, what we call the ancient Britons,
Yep.
or the Celtic people,
Yep.
who came here probably 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. Nobody knows for sure, but they didn't live just in what's now the town. They lived on the hillsides. There were 2 hill forts around the town, and we don't know how many people lived. And then about 2,000 years ago, the Romans came here, and they had again, not to what's now the town, but just outside. They had a fort, a Roman fort, which is about 3 or 4 miles from Brecon now. But there's nothing in the town that we can see that's Roman. And then about 1,000 years ago, the Normans came here, the people from northern France who invaded, and they came into England, and then they spread into parts of Wales, and they came and settled in Brecon, and they built a castle and, well, 2 monasteries in this area.
Was this a monastery originally, or it has been changed along the years?
It was built as a monastery, a priory it was called, a Benedictine priory, a Benedictine order of monks, and they started this in 1093, so just 900 years ago.
There is some I don't know, history or that the King the Eighth was involved in this activity. Talk to me about that.
King Henry the Eighth.
Yep.
Yes. So he came in the 1500s, so 500 years later. But he closed down all the monasteries in England and Wales.
Yep.
So he closed them all down. Told the monks that to go out into the community and not be monks anymore. And then he sold off all the land. They owned big amounts of land. Farms and properties. So at that point, all these buildings, which were part of the monastery, were sold for people to live in privately. And the church of the monastery became just a normal church for the town. And so that's 500, well, nearly 500 years ago.
And that was a decision taken by King Henry VIII?
Yes.
And from that, everything changes.
Yes. So everything changes to do with the church from his time. He was the one who broke away from the Roman Catholic Church in Rome. And then set up what became the Church of England. And as I say, he closed down all the monasteries. The monks were there were a lot of monks in Britain, a lot of monasteries in England and Wales, and they were some of the more educated people generally, and they also owned lots of farmland. And he made a lot of money by selling all that.
Definitely. And there is a history linked to the church with regard to soldiers from France, because there is a graveyard in front of the church. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so in around 1800, so just over 200 years ago, England was at war with France for a long time, at the time of Napoleon in France. And French prisoners of war, people taken prisoner in battles, they were taken to various places in this country.
Correct.
But some were kept in Brecon.
Yes.
So there was some prisoners of war were kept here, and one of them died while they were here, and so he's buried in the graveyard on the other side of the cathedral here, and we can see his grave today.
Is it that the French government did not plan to bring his remains back home?
No, I don't think.
Or just because
I don't think they did plan. I guess I can't remember the date he died. We can look on the grave. But at that point, the war was still going on. So the people of Brecon, I mean, somebody, I don't know who exactly, had him buried here in the cathedral.
Do you mind us go and have a look at that, the graveyards? Because I do speak French.
Yeah, sure, yes, we can
so
look
I
at
like
that
to
grave.
read what is written there and to have any idea.